Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, episode 802. This is the Indy Report. I hope you guys are having an outstanding week so far. It is Wednesday, and we're going to talk some A&T sports, and we're going to also talk about some We'll dig into Hampton and Tennessee State as well. I'm gonna try to sneak those guys and gals in as well, but we shall see how this goes. Brandon King, Tariq Wilson, and Jeffrey Johnson's on assignment. We might see Brandon King in for a segment, but we'll see. Tom's gonna tell you, everybody got these kids just like I do. But welcome to episode 802 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports. For institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA, we share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, David L. Rhodes, along with my co-hosts who are currently on assignment, Jeffrey Johnson, Tariq Wilson, and Brandon King. We are filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCOH 1230 a.m. studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. And I will say, Houston, Texas is a beautiful city. I got to go there a few weeks ago to go compete, and I will say I had a blast there. Wish I had more time to go out and explore. Did not have the bandwidth to do so, but here we are today. First thing I wanted to discuss, we didn't bring this up yesterday on the show because I was a co-host for Dr. Cavil's Inside HBCU Sports Lab yesterday, and one thing that we didn't bring up that I wanted to we kind of mentioned it, but shout out to Southern and Alabama State. City of Birmingham is set to host a marquee football matchup at historic Legion Field during the 2026 season. Following approval from the Birmingham City Council, the event will feature a highly anticipated clash between the Southern Jaguars and the Alabama State Hornets on Saturday, August 29th. Our city continues to recruit premier sports and entertainment events, says Mayor Randall Wolfen. We are thrilled to build on our relationship with the SWAC and look forward to hosting Alabama State University and Southern University as we offer another great HBCU experience for fans. I want to thank the members of the Birmingham City Council for their continued partnership in providing high-level sports entertainment in the Magic City. The SWAC remains one of the premier HBCU athletic conferences in the nation. The league has built a strong reputation for producing professional-level talent and continues to lead all FCS conferences in football attendance, topping the charts in 47 of the last 48 seasons as of 2025. Director of Athletics for Southern, Roman Banks, and Alabama State Vice President Dr. Jason Cavil highlighted the importance of the partnership with the city of Birmingham, calling the game a marquee event that will be nationally televised and showcase two of the conference most prominent programs. I will say this about this. I love the fact that they're doing this. I think it's going to be big for the city of Alabama, but it's going to also be big for those schools. I think like we talk. I don't think they called it a classic. They might come up with a name for it, but I think the moniker of the classic is shifting. And I think working with the city is like the way. I think this is the long-term way. That'll be lucrative not just for our institutions, but also for that city. But it's going to be interesting to see how this game goes. I do know that this is going to be Marshall Faulk's first season as head coach of Southern. There's been a lot of talks about the program. I'm kind of curious to see how he does. So it will be interesting to say the least. And I will remiss if I don't talk about this. Shout out to Chuck Hunt, and I was going to talk about this, but shout out to Bethune-Cookman, man, for beating Florida yesterday. And I'm looking forward to the top 25. I know they deserve to be. I think they should be considered for the top 25. At a minimum, they better be receiving votes, but they should be in the top 25, man. They beat this team based on RPI, was like second or third in the country based on their RPI, top 5 in the country. Like to beat them the way that they did, beat them by 6 runs, it's impressive. So shout out to Bethune-Cookman for getting it done with regards to that, because that is huge. And to do it twice in a week, in a span of 2 weeks, is amazing. So keep doing what you do. We got to make sure you win that tournament, though. Win that tournament, man. Like, this is the classic example of you want your best team to make it to the tournament, because Bethune-Cookman, if they keep playing like this, can make some legitimate noise into that tournament, which would be a sight to see. So I understand that there's other teams right now currently, and the baseball season's not over, but the SWAC and Bethune-Cookman should be like, everybody should be rooting for Bethune-Cookman to get the job done, get into the NCAA tournament, and do some damage there. Like, that's what you want. Like, because, and I'll say this, it gives a different level of publicity if you start pulling upsets, because based on the strength of the conference, they're not going to get a good draw, so they're going to probably run into somebody like a Florida again, which is unfortunate, but that's what's going to happen. Maybe things will change because they might respect Bethune-Cookman's out of conference wins, but odds are pretty high. It's gonna be fascinating to see how this unfolds. But Bethune-Cookman at the same time has got to keep winning these games, like just keep rolling over everybody else in the conference to try to put that argument in of, hey, we beat Florida, we beat LSU, help us out here, type of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I know y'all ain't gonna root for him, Edwin. I know y'all not gonna root for him. I know y'all not. But you just think about it. Take a nap. They ain't your big rivals. You should be okay. Just consider it. Just consider it for a little while. Just consider it. Sit down and consider it. But I know that's not in your blood. And I completely understand. I can relate. I got it. Understood. We talked about the untimely passing of Kevin Broadhurst Jr. yesterday. They did a memorial for him on the Sigma plot. He was a spring 2025 initiative into the Chapter Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, which I'm also, which is my home chapter, my home undergrad chapter, so to speak. So I saw some pictures from the event. It was a beautiful event. It's just difficult. My line brother's the state director down there in North Carolina, so he made sure to get down there for that event, to say the least. But it should be. But it's been, Aggieland's been kind of reeling a little bit with that one, because it was kind of sudden. It was right after spring practice, so it was rough. Speaking of the spring game, there was I don't, and I will give the disclaimer now. I'm not sure who had their spring. I know the school down the road had their spring game, but I don't really think too much about any of those things. But A&T had their spring game over the weekend. I think South Carolina State did as well. So I was at the spring game on Saturday. It was a very interesting. It was interesting display. There's a lot more stability. There's a quarterback competition going on again. We don't have like 7 quarterbacks like we did last year. There's 4 going after it right now. Coach Gibbs said that there's a couple that are already clearing their way from the pack, so we'll see how that goes. I feel comfortable with the 4 quarterbacks that we currently have on the roster. The big thing that I was trying to pay attention to is up front, and I think that up front has been improved, vastly improved. So I'm thrilled to see that. I'm still a little bit worried about the defensive line a little bit, but it's still a vast improvement over what we had before. It seems like the offensive line is doing what they got to do. The new offensive line coach after Ron Manis retired is doing an outstanding job so far with the offensive line, which is great to see. Curious to see how this continues to unfold with the group. We got our opening game is up against Morgan State. We haven't beaten Morgan State in quite some time. I think 2017 or 2016 was the last time we beat them. But yeah, so it'll be fascinating to see how that unfolds. This is a great question. A&T, the Aggies wanted Sean Gibbs. So from my standpoint, I'm not too concerned. I think some people were kind of panicking a little bit because of how it was looking like at the end of the year. Because at the end of the year, it kind of the bottom kind of fell out pretty badly with regards to the scores and things of that sort. But he won 2 conference games. The previous head coach didn't win any in 2 years' time. He won 2. Had a couple close games. Probably should have had William & Mary, had Maine. I was at the Maine game. Had Tennessee State. I was at Tennessee State. There was a couple of games that could have went the other way. So I think the team was young, and I think we were just outmanned. But overall, I think that people, like the players, respected him, and he made it because he was straightforward and honest with the team. So I think that the Aggie fan base is I say all that to say the Aggie fan base is still supportive right now. We just got a big donor. We got a big donation, a naming donation not too long ago. And pretty much the bulk of that money is going to go towards the football program. They're adding 20 additional scholarships on top of the normal allocation FCS programs would have. So we should have scholarships in the 80s, 80, 85, close to it, starting this upcoming year. So that'll be a beautiful thing to see. So we're kind of making strides with regards to that, because I think that's the big thing. That was the one thing that Coach Gibbs said he needed. He would like to have more scholarships. Not because we didn't already have our full allocation FCS, but now you can do up to 105. Since you can do up to 105, they want to get more than the normal 63 that they were getting prior to that. But the thing is, man, we're still paying the previous coach. I mean, the previous coach had a buyout. I mean, he had 4 years. He had like 3 or 4 years left on his deal. We were paying him like $380 a year. So, they can't, we kind of can't do that yet. We got to give some time to build his program. And we have to give him the proper NIL support so he can keep players. So like you have a mix of both. And it's not like he doesn't know how to recruit. We were able to pull a 4-star from a Power 4 company, well, it pretty much comes at this point, a Power 4 school in Ben Boulware. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this unfolds with regards to that. But I'm going to go ahead and take the first break. When we come back, I'll talk about something that there's been a lot of debates about on HBCU Game Day. So I'll use some time to have a discussion point about that. So we'll be right back right after this first break.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
them belly full but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell them mama hungry.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, episode 802. This is the Indy Report. So shout out to HBCU Game Day, Stephen Gaither and those guys. They do a tremendous job, and they created a debate regarding the Celebration Bowl. You know, it's off season, so you know debates it's the football off season, so debates reign supreme right now. And before we get into that, because I do want to talk about some running away is an understatement, my man. They are zooming through like in the wild. I guess I'll talk about the football debate later. I got plenty of time. But the women's softball in the MEAC is higher than everybody else, and it's to the point where if you say Howard's the best softball team in HBCU sports, it's kind of hard to debate. I mean, there is some brevity with it because we kind of went over it yesterday because I felt like Howard was number one, but Howard has lost to some SWAC programs. But I will say this: if we have a situation to say that Howard is the best softball team in the MEAC, I don't think it's close. I mean, you know, the way the running joke I always say, we'll use the A&T barometer. And somebody's like, well, what's the A&T barometer? Well, A&T plays a lot of the we play a lot of the MEAC programs in softball. Even though we're not in the conference anymore, we still keep a lot of games with a lot of those institutions. So I will tell you what I mean by what I said. So A&T was part of the Collegiate Softball Invitational. They went 2-2. The game against Texas Southern University was canceled due to the weather. We beat Coppin, we beat Bowie State, lost to Southern, lost to Howard. But I believe Howard was the only softball team that we lost to in the MEAC. I think we might have lost to Morgan if we played them. Let me double check. We played South Carolina State. We beat them. We played them twice. We beat them 8-1 and 10-2. To 10-2, they stopped the game after 6 innings. All right. We beat Maryland Eastern Shore. We beat them. The first game was 10-0. They stopped the game after 5 innings. Second game was 5-1. Then we played the school down the road. We beat them 10-5 and then 10-3. We did lose to Morgan. So we lost to Morgan and Howard. We lost to Morgan 4-5 and we lost to Morgan 6-9. And so they swept us. And we're playing Coppin State now. We already beat Coppin State 7-5. I think the other game, well, I don't know if the final scores happened with the other game. That should be over by now because that game started at 3 o'clock. But let me see if I can pull the final score for the second game. If that's broadcast or work, it might not, but we'll see. I'll find out. But it looks like that game's probably done too. I have to check. Yep. You know, my daughter, she's over in the hospital. She's so far so good. You know, she already had a major change, but you know, that happens. Like that's normal. I know she was kind of. I know initially she was kind of initially scared to tell me, and I'm like, that's normal. A lot of kids change their major pretty. I'm glad you're doing it early instead of later. But also like there's some schools where you don't get to pick a major. But overall, she's doing good. She's enjoying herself. She don't want me, but she don't want to like me bothering her as much, which is good. So that means that tells me she's enjoying herself. She just got her dorm for next year. She's gonna be in a single dorm. She's looking forward to that. But overall, she's doing good. She's studying abroad. She's planning on studying abroad in Germany in June. So she's doing good. And they gave her some scholarship money for that, which was awesome. So that was good. My pockets still aren't happy about it. I'm thrilled for her, but my pockets aren't happy. But that money does help. That cash does help. I'm probably going to tell her to use it as cash. But yeah, she's doing good. She's doing good. I keep joking to her about whether or not she wanted to transfer. But she's enjoying the school, man. She's enjoying it. Yeah, she's enjoying. I'll be giving her grief. I'll be like, hey man, there's still time. But the way, and I'm gonna talk. I got a show after this on the HBCU Nightly Network called MD, and I'm gonna be discussing the enrollment cliff a little bit more, only because there were some other things that have come to light at some other institutions. So I want to have that. I want to talk that through tonight on MD because it's starting to get realistic. It's starting to get real in the field, so to speak. But the bottom line is, I don't think MEAC outside of Howard. I don't think MEAC softball is that strong. But Howard can play with the best of them. Like they've had some phenomenal wins. Unlike the SWAC, the MEAC doesn't do a good job hyping up those victories like they should be. But they've had some pretty good wins this year. So shout out to Howard. It's funny you say that. My daughter changed her major early, and the major that she changed it to gave her more credits that she can utilize that she got from high school, which was a good thing to see. I was kind of happy about that because she's a sophomore by credits now. So when she told me that, I was like, oh, all right, do what you got to do. Because she might get out of there a semester early, and that school's expensive. So I wouldn't be complaining one bit if that's the case. But yeah, man. But no, softball for A&T has not been as good. If we were in the MEAC, we would be sitting in a good spot. But softball, they're 17-29 overall, 3-15 in conference. I don't. Well, they don't have baseball, right? MEAC doesn't sponsor baseball. They play their baseball in the NEC. But bowling's kind of in the middle. Their bowling program typically has 2 or 3 top 25 teams in it, like A&T, Maryland Eastern Shore, Delaware State. Those 3 tend to be ranked in the top 25. Sometimes UAB pops up in there. A lot of folks didn't realize USB is in the MEAC in bowling, but yeah. But when I think about a spring sport outside of, basketball, obviously, but basketball is more of a winter sport. Track, outdoor track. But Howard and Norfolk, those are the cream of the crop there too, right? Howard and Norfolk tends to be the dominant ones with regards to that. When it comes to when they did have baseball, that was a big deal. But that was when FAMU was in the conference and Bethune was in the conference with us. So like it was a different type of thing. And then the school down the road had a baseball team too. So like, but now with so many institutions, they're not carrying baseball, it makes it difficult. Because there aren't, I think Coppin, Delaware State, I think Norfolk, and Maryland Eastern Shore are the 4 schools that have baseball programs. Yeah, because Howard doesn't have one. There was some discussions about whether or not there's some folks that want South Carolina State to bring back theirs, but they don't have a baseball program. School down the road, I don't know when they're going to be able to bring theirs back after what happened with theirs. I don't know. So yeah, the A&T bowling program made it to the Elite 8, made it to the Final 8. They lost in the regional finals to the number 1 team in the country. So they had a phenomenal season this year. So shout out to them. Yeah, well, Howard, since A&T has left the MEAC, since the Florida schools and A&T have left the MEAC, Howard has been pretty dominant in that conference when it comes to winning championships. Pretty dominant. Like, they've pretty much taken over. That's why, some people like A&T handed to come out of MEAC, and Howard probably like, nah, they don't. They can stay right there because they keep winning. They win all these championships. They're probably they won men's and women's basketball. They're probably going to win. I expect them to win softball. They'll probably win women's track. they just win. So like, and they pay 7 schools. They sponsor 7 sports in the NEC, and they're winning championships over there too. So like they're like, nah, we good because they're winning. Like they've already shown that they can get it done in football. They won the football championship a couple years ago. They won this football championship. They won the MEAC in 2023. That wasn't that long ago, guys. Like they've shown that they've been able to make it do what it do. So they're from their standpoint, they're doing what they need to do. They're probably going to have more champions than any other school in that conference for the year on both the men's and the women's side. I mean, that's just the reality. Either they're competing for the title or they're going to win it. It's one or the other. The only one that they're not doing it right now currently is football, but they got a new head coach and Ted White, and I think that he'll be able to turn around. But the MEAC football is always going to be interesting when you got Chendis Berry there doing this thing at South Carolina State. I hate those guys down the road, but Trey Oliver is a phenomenal coach. I can't take that away from him. Deshaun Jackson surprised the world out here being second in the MEAC last year. He's back. You know what I'm saying? So like Michael Vick can't afford to be out here having 1-win seasons now, can he? So like the MEAC is going to be interesting this year off that alone. But it'll be fascinating to see how that unfolds. But when it comes to A&T Softball has been very rough for both us and Hampton. Hampton is also 3-15, but they're 9-27 overall overall. So they're 3-15 in conference, 9-27 overall. Neither teams are going to qualify for the postseason. I believe it's just the top 6 teams go, if I remember correctly. First season that they have North and South divisions in the CAA. So I don't see neither one of our schools making it there. And as for baseball, same thing. A&T is the only independent baseball program right now, and they're 3-12 in conference, 10-25 overall. Not a good season for A&T baseball, to say the least. Now, I will say we have not played. Dang, we didn't have no MEAC teams on the schedule this year. Just realized that. But we've been struggling out in conference, pretty rough. We've been able to win some games out of conference, but in conference has been pretty tough. I mean, we've struggled mightily. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do next season with regards to baseball. And I like Ben Hall as a coach because I know he can recruit. But I think there's more layers to the challenges that are going on in baseball right now, particularly when you talk about the facilities and things of that sort. I said this on Twitter. It's gonna take. Somebody said we need to have a come to Jesus. Both sides need to have a come to Jesus moment, and my response was it's gonna take more than that. I don't see A&T returning to the MEAC anytime soon as a full-time member. That's just me talking. Like that's just my opinion. I just based on what I've observed, I don't see it. Based on what I've heard from feedback from coaches, I just don't see it. I don't. But I know folks after the Earl Hilton retirement think that we're probably heading back. I don't think so. Our whole campaign, Al Aggies all in, is about winning championships in the CAA. That's coming after the break. That was supposed to be right now, but I'm about to take my second commercial break. We're going to talk about that because I really want to get it. I really want to get into this pretty good because it's kind of fascinating discussing that. So we'll take our second commercial break, and this might end up being the last commercial break. And when we come back, we'll discuss what I was supposed to discuss this segment, which was the A&T Celebration Bowl debate. So we'll be right back after this break.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
And we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
Now, what about HBCUs? You mentioned.
Absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs. And Comcast did not accept it. And that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay. That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
Right? I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay.
There's a shot. It might be. It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
When you're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics, there's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Compress the analytic data with your hip-hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to episode 802 of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. This is the Indy Report. So yeah, the debate that shout out to HBCU Game Day and Stephen Gaither regarding this about the greatest A&T Celebration Bowl team of all time. It's interesting because the graphic only showed 3 of the 4 Celebration Bowl teams. And let me tell y'all something, man. That 2018 squad might have been the most talented out of the whole bunch. Low key. The problem was that they got some losses on that banner. And sometimes the most talented teams don't win all the games. And that's not a knock on 2017, but like they've showed the 2015, they pretty much said 2015, 2017, or 2019 and forgot about 2018. And I think that's a disservice to 2018 because I thought that squad was outstanding. Now, I will say that the 2015 squad, from an impact standpoint, was probably the most important from an impact standpoint because of Tariq Cohen. Like, if you ask me what football team was the most important from A&T's ascent, like from the standpoint of everything, when you put it all together, it's the 2015 team with Tariq Cohen. I went to the first Celebration Bowl, so I was at that game when Tariq went in on Alcorn State. And now, do I think they were the best team? No. When you talk about the impact from winning that first Celebration Bowl to Tariq having his viral moments, being on SportsCenter multiple times, that 2015 squad was it. 2016 probably had the potential to be better, but then they had a lot of injuries that kind of did them in, and they ended up getting that loss at the end of the season. But they did beat the FBS program that year in 2016. People tend to forget that. They did make the postseason all 5 years. But they were over there with their third string quarterback at that point, so they weren't going to beat the school down the road. They were a pretty good team as well. And that's how they end up in the Celebration Bowl. They just couldn't get it done in that second year. In 2016. But the 2017 squad, they were determined and they proceeded to go undefeated. They proceeded to go undefeated. But I will say this, and folks will feel away. Their schedule, the 2018 schedule was the toughest schedule out of all of them. Well, 2019 was pretty. 2018, 2019. 2018 was a tougher schedule. They played number 6 Jacksonville State, who was number 6 in FCS. They played East Carolina, and they won both of those games. And the FCS game was the kickoff. But 2017 was the one that ran the table, the last HBCU football program to do so. And I know that Jackson State came really close a few years back, but if they would have done it, I would have still taken the 2017 A&T team over theirs, primarily because of who they played. They beat the FBS program. Like they had a much stronger schedule from my perspective. However, the 2018 A&T squad had a pretty strong schedule as well. But Coach Sam Washington, love him to death, man, but he could not beat Morgan State and FAMU to save his life. Those were his only losses while he was in the MEAC. He only lost to Morgan, and he lost to FAMU. I don't understand it. Now, I will say those 2 games were about 4 points total. Like they lost to Morgan by 3, and they lost to FAM by 1. So tough losses, and that's why I kind of have to give 2017 the edge. If you ask me what's the best one out of the bunch, but to put 2019 up there and not 2018 was kind of wild to me. But I think everybody remembers the 64 points we dropped on Alcorn State too. The 2019 squad was pretty good as well. But I think 2018 brought some phenomenal moments. Bring me my money. That came from the game against ECU. Like those were moments that were incredible during that period of time. But overall, I think if you're gonna ask me, I'm gonna give it to 20. I'm gonna say 2017. 2020 would have been different, man. And 2020 was one of those years where the big guns was coming back. The talent, we had more talent coming through the pipe. COVID ruined it. Like I will say, if you ask me, if there was a program that got ruined by COVID, like ruined by COVID, it was the A&T football program. I think we just did not navigate that nearly as well as we should have compared to other HBCUs. Not saying we had to play. I just feel like we didn't navigate it like we needed to navigate it compared to other HBCU programs during the period of time. And also considering that we were about to jump into a new conference. Like that 2020 team was going to be different. Like there was a plan. There was a plan that kind of got faltered with regards to the football program at that point. That 2020 team probably could compete in the CEA then. And that game against North Dakota State would have been fascinating to watch. By the time we finally had the game against North Dakota State, the roster wasn't the same; it was ravaged. So it's going to be woulda, coulda, shouldas with regards to that. But that year would have been fascinating for A&T as a whole. I think that was also the year where a lot of folks thought we had a legitimate shot to win the national championship in track. So we ended up getting second in indoor, but like that was the year. That was the year. And then everything got canceled. It was kind of it took a blow, but I think no sport took a bigger hit in A&T athletics during that period of time than the football program. That's just my take on it. A lot of folks don't want to discuss it because that's where everybody had to go through the COVID, but some people played through COVID. You changed your mind, huh? You thought about that 2018. That 2018 team beat some really good people. They just had some rough losses. Like they beat Jacksonville State, who was number 6 in the Crumbtree, and on national television on the FCS kickoff. Then they came back the following week, had a weather delay. They pushed the game a day, and they proceeded to beat East Carolina. And then they beat Gardner-Webb 45-6 the week after that, in 6 days, by the way. Because they moved the game against ECU to Sunday, and then they still had to turn back around and play on Saturday. So they lost the day to prepare, and they proceeded to beat Gardner-Webb by 39 points. And then the MEAC opener laid an egg against Morgan State, but then proceeded to come back and beat up on South Carolina State, beat up on Delaware State, They laid another egg to FAMU, both at home, by the way. Both games at home. It was that Jacksonville State team that was in the national championship. Yep. And they came into the following season number 6 in the country. The squad was good, man. For them to win, and that win was a big deal. That team was so talented. So talented. 2 NFL players on that roster. So talented. So talented. But you know. But that was the squad, to say the least. But yeah, I'm taking 2017. So much talent. They were so good, man. And the thing is, you know, this was the pre-NIL era. It's hard. It's difficult to build teams like that now, because players don't stay long enough to develop. A lot of them are one and done. Like those type of squads. Those are going to be the difficult squads unless there's a big shift back to where we were, which I don't see happening. Those type, like, even when you talk about winning 4 out of 5 years, that's going to be difficult to do in this era. I mean, very difficult. It was difficult to do before NIL. So it's going to be very difficult to have a dynasty like we had in the Celebration Bowl at the beginning. Now, I think there's some schools that could potentially do it. Like South Carolina State is probably the one that might have the best shot to do it. But I have a feeling that you know, I think Prairie View is going to have something to say about it. And shout out to Coach Tremaine Jackson in Prairie View, man. He got a hefty raise. He got a 35% increase for him and his staff. So shout out to them. That 2017 team would have had a legit chance to make. Yeah. That 2017 team was good too, man. Yeah, man. Let's see. But yeah. All right, let me see here. Is there anything else I want to talk about tonight? I don't really have too much, and I could talk about I can bring up Tennessee State. One second. But hold on one second, guys. Tennessee State. The problem is the high school talent's not going to stay unless you play them. They're not going to. A lot of these kids, they want to play, and they're not going to stick around unless you want to play them. Unless you're going to play them. If you don't play them, they're going to hit the portal. You know. But yeah. So let me see here. I wanted to pull up the softball standings for Tennessee State because I'm not sure how they're doing in the OVC in softball. And then I was gonna close. I was waiting to see. Brandon said he might be able to make it. I don't think Brandon's gonna make it today. So I wanted to talk about softball, and that's end of the fence, and then close out for Tennessee State. But I have not. Let me see. Tennessee. Maybe I don't want to talk about softball. Tennessee State is 1-17 in conference, 1-28 overall in softball. Yeah, I don't want to talk about softball, and I'm not sure if everybody makes the postseason, but I don't think they do. But all right, I'm gonna call it a show because I wanted to end with that debate. But nah, man, give me 2017. It is I think there was only 4 teams in that championship back then, but they won the first. They won the first FCS. They won the first Division I AA championship back in 1978, I believe it was, if I remember correctly. So yeah, and the thing is, could we see it again? Like, could it happen again? And it's a different construct, right? Like back then, it was only 4 schools. Now it's like 24. Soon it might end up being 32. Could we see it again? Could an HBCU do it? You know, I think A&T thinks they can. That's how they feel about it. But all right, we're gonna close out the show, and the ONG Strike Zone is next at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you to share our podcast with your friends or colleagues. I'm David L. Rhodes. Shout out to the Dean of HBCU Sports, Dr. Kenyatta for coming from Inside the Lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Tariq Wilson, Jeffrey Johnson, and Brandon King. We want to thank you for listening to Dr. Cavil's Inside HBCU Sports Lab every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We look forward to next week to discuss the latest news in the lab. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at ChampD1012. You can follow Dr. Kenyatta Cavil on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook and Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Dream big and continue to move forward. We'll talk to you soon. Course, lecture, dismissed.